Historical Society's History Makers event. I'm Patrick Scott, the president of the Society. This year we're honoring a pioneer couple and their family and an industry that together helped shape Fort Lauderdale from a sleepy spot on the New River in the early 1900s to the major yachting center it is today, the capital of yachting in the world, really. Our extremely deserving honorees this year are Frank and Gertrude Denison. Yeah. I think we've got their attention now. Thank you. Our honorees this evening are Frank and Gertrude Denison and the Denison Family, as well as the Marine Industries Association of South Florida. As you listen to the program, you'll understand why they so richly deserve the title History Makers. This is an exciting time for us as we set sail on the next chapter for our museum and our mission to preserve, protect, and share the history of Fort Lauderdale. Tonight we celebrate an important part of the story and of the future in recognizing the enormous impact the marine industries has made and will continue to make on the history of our city. Before we begin, please join me in welcoming Stefan Chavidian, President and co-founder of the National Christian Foundation of South Florida.
If you all will join me for a moment, 1 minute, we want to be quiet as we want to acknowledge and join me in a word of prayer. Our dear Heavenly Father, we gather tonight with a deep sense of wonder and gratitude. History has a way to help us look forward as we peer into the past. Just to celebrate that which is good and life-giving. Tonight, as we gather together as a community and business leaders, we recognize that the power of many exceeds the ego of one. Today, we celebrate the legacy of the Denison family and the lives that have been impacted. We recognize that the vision of two people cascade into our community and beyond. We are grateful for the inspiration because it encourages us to dream our own dreams. We are encouraged to recognize that God-given gifts and dreams are tethered to big responsibilities. To whom much is given, much is expected. Lord, in closing, we pray that your hand of blessing, provision, and protection will be upon this family, this community, and this industry. Today, we humbly thank you, and in the same breath, we ask that you would give us your wisdom, your guidance as we continue to embark on this journey of life. In your name, amen.
Thank you, Stefan, for honoring us with your presence. I'd like you next to meet the executive director of our society, Patricia Zeiler.
Good evening, everyone. We're so glad you could be here with us this evening. Thank you so much, Pat Scott, for your leadership and all of our board of directors. You recognize them with this white name badge they're wearing tonight. And especially, I have to thank the event committee that worked tirelessly to put this event together. So I am charged with introducing to you our elected officials. So this evening, we are honored to have with us County Commissioner Lamar Fisher. Thank you, Commissioner. And it's my pleasure now to introduce you to Commissioner Ben Sorensen, who has proclamations for both the Marine Industries Association and for the Denison family from the City of Fort Lauderdale.
Thank you, Pat. How we doing out there? Woo! All right, let's get everyone listening up. In the back, if you just listen up here, wave. Great seeing y'all. Thank you for being here. Is everyone having fun at the boat show this year? All right, excellent. Well, I want to especially celebrate a couple folks who have been so instrumental in our boat show and the history here. First up, I'd like to welcome and thank Phil Purcell. So Phil, if you just come up here. Phil Purcell of the Marine Industries Association of South Florida. And you all probably know Phil very well. Phil has done an amazing job supporting our marine industry here in South Florida, helping support over 130,000 jobs. If y'all will listen up in the back there, just clap your hands if you can hear me. Clap your hands if you can hear me. Thank you. Very nice. Not only that, does Phil and the Marine Industries Association of South Florida help support jobs, they help support our economy with an impact of our boat show of well over $1 billion. So Phil, I just want to thank you for all you do on behalf of the City of Fort Lauderdale. Here's a little proclamation. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. One moment. And as I mentioned, not only do I stand here today on behalf of the City of Fort Lauderdale, thank you, but on behalf of your Mayor, Dean J. Trantelis. And the next and final family that I would like to celebrate is the Denison family. So Denison family, would y'all come up, everyone in the Denison family, come on up here, would like the whole Denison family. If you are related, get up here, Denison family. Come on. Hi, how you doing? Come on up here. Thank you. You're welcome. Get up here, beautiful Denison family. So, as you all probably know the story, in 1948, the matriarch and patriarch of the Denison family came down here to Fort Lauderdale, and they saw a future. They had a vision. They bought a boatyard, and they turned that boatyard, get in here, come on, into an amazing dream, Broward Marine. And in 1953, Frank and Gertrude drove up to Washington, D.C., with Gertrude in the back of the car, typing on a typewriter, the submission to get an application in to provide shipbuilding for minesweepers for the U.S. government, specifically for the United States Navy, which I'm a little biased. Go Navy! Go Navy! And in 1953, we're awarded that $11 million contract, and the rest is history. So not only am I excited and honored to present on behalf of the mayor this proclamation for the Denison family, ladies, if you wouldn't mind, I'm also very excited. We've been working with the Denison family. It's a little bit early to announce this, but we're all friends and family here. We're working to rename Southwest 20th Street in front of the Lauderdale Marine Center, thinking about renaming it to Denison Drive. How's that sound? Woo! So it's the least we can do, Denison family. We're just so grateful for all of you and your continued amazing work here. Let me turn it over to you if you'd like to say anything.
No, we're going to let Bob do this one.
Thank you guys so much. This is all about the jobs that were created, and I know if my grandparents were here, they would point right back to the men and women here that made our industry what it is, and it was never about the big white boats. It was all about the jobs and the families that those big white boats supported. And thank you guys. Everybody here that had a hand in making Broward's, had a hand in our industry to make Fort Lauderdale the yachting capital of the world. This is for you guys, and this is what Frank and Gertrude Denison were all about. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Denison family. I really appreciate it. Yes, Michael, photo? Line them up, line them up.
God, there's so many.
I'll get in the back. Thank you again, Denison family. And just as I leave the stage, like to thank Patricia Zeiler, Pat Rathburn, and all the volunteers that made today possible. And lastly, for my wife, Anna Sorensen, who's here. Thank you, Anna, for your love and support. Let me turn it back over to our MC as the Denison family departs. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sorensen, for coming to us.
He's the archivist, trust me.
Now I'd like to invite our event committee chair to share a few words with you. Patricia Rathburn.
I think you broke this, Pat. Wait. How does this go? I have no idea how that goes back in. And if, oh, I have to take those two. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now I've got to take them back.
Oh, okay. We're going to hand these out to every woman who appears on stage. But for those of you keeping track, yes, I am the third Pat that's been on stage so far tonight. So, and you do not have to be named Pat to be involved in the Historical Society. We also would like to acknowledge Marty Kerr, who's the property appraiser, and he's somewhere in the crowd, and we didn't reference him when we were talking to the earlier. This year's 25th anniversary event would not be possible without the support of many generous sponsors and benefactors. We would particularly like to thank our presenting sponsors, Safe Harbor Lauderdale Marine Center, Roscioli Yachting Center, and our most important beverage sponsor, Ocean Wine and Spirits. This event would not be possible without them. Okay, and we're missing Pat Scott. Closer.
Thank you. The other Pat. And now the reason we're together. Our first honor goes to the Marine Industries of South Florida, Marine Industries Association of South Florida. Tonight, we present them with our Legacy Business Award for the organization's 60-plus years of industry and service. Since 1961, the Marine Industries Association of South Florida, the largest marine trade organization in the Southeast United States, has promoted, protected, and grown thousands of marine businesses and jobs in Broward County. Just take a look at this short video.
On behalf of the Marine Industry Association of South Florida, its member, its board of directors, and all the businesses that comprise it, I want to thank History Fort Lauderdale for honoring the association. When you think of the river and you think of the Quest Indians, the bridge behind me that Henry Flagler built in the 1890s, and think that in 2021 we have a $9.7 billion industry and the world's largest in-water boat show, I can't thank you enough for honoring our industry and our association.
Yep. And now here to accept the award on behalf of the Marine Industries Association of South Florida, once again, Phil Purcell.
Angle down a little bit. There we go. Hide the gut. Thanks.
Say,
You want me to say something?
you've got a couple minutes if you want.
Hey, can I? Now there's someone that can yell at you, right? I know my kids. Just be quiet for a second. Give me 2 minutes, 30 minutes. No. Look, at the end of the day, I want to thank you. How about the boat show right now? What an amazing show this year, huh? That's what gives us a $9.7 billion economic impact in Broward County, guys. That's what's going to probably have the best ever attendance in the history of the show, and probably is going to break the 2019 number of about 700 million in sales. There's a good chance. But look, the Historical Society, this industry, the Denison family, this boat show, think about it, guys. If the Denisons didn't build all those Browards, we wouldn't have had big boats here. The Europeans weren't building it yet. The Denison family is what put the boat show on the map and helped it continue over those years. Make no mistake. So on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Marine Industry Association and the industry at large, we appreciate the acknowledgement and thank you. Have a great show.
Thank you, Phil. Congratulations to the Marine Industries Association of South Florida and the Denison family. We're pleased to have History Fort Lauderdale board member Frank Gernard from our presenting sponsor, Safe Harbor Marine Center, here to share a vision with you that I alluded to earlier about our future as the caretakers of our past. Frank? Thanks so much.
Thank you, Pat. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for making the time to come out and be a part of this on the Big Boat Show weekend. Throughout the night, we've been highlighting renderings for a new museum encasing our vision and showcasing our vision for our 60th anniversary in 2022. It's a perfect time to launch our campaign for a new $20 million state-of-the-art museum with significant marine industry exhibit space. And with that, I'd like you to take a look at a short video.
They are you, me, an idea, a venture. They inspire us to build bigger and dig deeper. They are stories that parallel our own. They whisper from the past and tell us our future. These are the foundations to the City of Fort Lauderdale's strength. We listened and we learned, and it is our duty to honor and defend these foundations for future generations. By preserving our cultures, keeping sacred our legacies, safeguarding family heritage, and inspiring our future. History Fort Lauderdale has been protecting these treasures by harboring and curating an award-winning collection that tells a very special story. Founded in 1962 and one of Florida's top-rated 501c3 nonprofits, History Fort Lauderdale has a proven track record of ensuring the preservation of over 1 million cultural treasures, records, and artifacts. We protect, we teach, we inspire. It is what we do, and we're not alone. We are all part of this magical story, and together we have developed new ways to communicate, new ways to engage and share these stories, and new ways to reach out to our community. We have grown stronger, better, and now our ideas are bigger, and the story we protect even more important. We're ready to defend these foundations for generations to come, and the only thing missing is you.
Thank you very much. Please join us by sponsoring our vision. There are QR codes on signage around the room that will take you to the museum's donations page and will orient you with what our options are. History Fort Lauderdale has a lot of prestigious and a lot of history here other than the Denison family, and as one of those that's been here in Fort Lauderdale forever, we like to perpetuate that history and appreciate your support very much. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, Frank. In case it didn't resonate in the back, we have QR codes on various spots throughout the room. If you care to make a donation tonight, we'd love to have it. Congratulations to the Marine Industries Association of South Florida and the Denison family on being honored here tonight. And thanks to the Denisons for inviting me to present this letter. I'm reading Bernie's script. Sorry. I got ahead of myself. We also have with us a special guest of the Denison family, Bernie Moreno.
No worries. All right. This is a very, very special night for the Denisons, and I got a very special letter here. So if you could give me 30 seconds, because I think what we're doing here tonight is honoring a very special family to Fort Lauderdale and to South Florida. So congratulations to the Marine Industries Association of South Florida and to the Denison family, and I have a very special letter from Governor Ron DeSantis. Let's go, Brandon. All right. All right, it says, "Dear friends, congratulations to the Marine Industries Association of South Florida and Frank and Gertrude Denison for being recognized with the History of Fort Lauderdale History Makers Pioneer Family Award. Your work launching the yacht building industry in Fort Lauderdale has been instrumental in shaping Fort Lauderdale as the yachting capital of the world. From launching their first custom motor yacht in 1953 to building minesweepers during the Korean War to building hundreds of motor yachts and boats, the Denison family has been a vital contributor to the boating history of Fort Lauderdale. The First Lady, is that for boating? The First Lady? The First Lady and I wish you all continued success. Governor Ron DeSantis." Congratulations, Denison family.
I just wanted to mention that the Mayor of Fort Lauderdale is with us now, Mayor Dean Trantelis. Although most of you already know him, I'd like to introduce Ken Denison, the chair of tonight's event. Thank you, Ken, for all you have personally done to make this event a huge success. I know that your family wants to personally thank some of the people who have contributed to the festivities tonight. But before you do that, History Fort Lauderdale would like to present this to you. Ken.
Thank you, thank you.
We're going to take a picture here.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Angle down a little.
How we? Thanks. Okay, mercifully, this will be coming to the conclusion of tonight. But I'm going to ask you for a second in the room to give a little bit of quiet, because some people, especially when we're going to show a film in about a few minutes about the story of these two right over here. And we want to tell you guys, all the people that right now made this night possible. It's a huge group of people, and I want to thank them right now. We can't have them come up individually, but I want to tell them who they are. These are the people that were in this film you're going to see. Rob Moss from Allie Moss. Hold your applause to the end. Ron Cleveringer from Burger Boats. Mike Busaka from Fraser. Dick Lazara Yachts. Phil Purcell, of course. Bob Saxon and Billy Smith. Those are all our creative people in that film that you're going to see. And also the people that actually created this event. There's a beautiful brochure that you guys are all going to have when you leave here. Darcy Thompson did that. Marilyn Maurer, she wrote it. Josiah Sampson is our filmmaker. Patrick Scott, of course, is the president here, has been here all night. Patricia Rathburn and Patricia Zeiler. And Forrest Johnson, whose name does not need to be well known in this industry. And Susan Penrod, the best event coordinator that I've ever met. There's also a bunch of people here that took part in this film. Mike Joyce, Herb Chambers, Mark Cavendish, Richard Hine, Andrew Winch, Dickie Bannenberg. If you're in the business, you probably know these names. But there's another man that can't be here tonight. And he's a man that's instrumental. He was the founder of Trinity Yachts along with John Dane and Billy. It's Felix Sabatis. And if we got the link right tonight, it's live. Felix, you're out there. And we want you just to know that we're thinking about you. He's in this thing. And Rita Case, bless her heart, said she wants to get this and give it to him personally. So can I have that award for me? Rita, could you please come up? Come on up. Rita, go ahead.
Hey everyone, I'm so excited for the boat show this year. It's going to be an amazing weekend, and I want to thank the Denison family and the Historical Society for putting this on tonight. You know what? We wouldn't be the yachting capital of the world if it wasn't for the Denison family. Congratulations tonight.
Thank you. And Felix.
And of course, Felix, he's hopefully watching. I got him connected tonight.
Thank you, sweetie. That's yours. Okay. This is going to be over really quickly, so guys, 1 second, please. This whole tribute almost didn't happen. It happened very, very, in a way, almost like my parents bought the yard in 1948. And really, it was almost an accident. Neither of them knew the boat business in a way that would let them take on a yard, and accidentally, by a stroke of luck, they had bid on a contract for the construction of these boats. There were 472 footers, 7 of the other 144 footers, and listen to this, guys. They had to deliver those 104 footers every 45 days. Did you hear that? And the 172 footers every 90 days. That was an impossibility. The river had to be dredged, bridges had to be narrowed, and a railroad spur had to be directly brought into the yard. But the point is, for this group in here, in this room, it started an establishment of people there are thousands of people. They stayed in this town, and they started their own businesses. That's the thing that the History of Fort Lauderdale discovered, and never was this known really to the way it is tonight. And that's what we're thanking him for, because it's not about, as Bob says, the fact of the boats or the company. It's about the people that stayed here and kept this industry what it is today, the yachting capital of the world. So folks, I want you to be as quiet as you can for the next 10 minutes. We've been working on this piece for about 3 years. We want you to hear it. It's a love letter from all of us in this room to 2 people who would have never asked for this. I can tell you that. They only did what they loved. This is about a couple who on their honeymoon decided to buy a boatyard.
Each fall, Fort Lauderdale becomes the worldwide epicenter of the yachting industry, at home of the largest boat show in the world. But maybe more importantly, for a brief moment, Fort Lauderdale's long-standing reputation as the yachting capital of the world is once again confirmed. When the show leaves here, the industry stays here, continues to grow here, continues to be the largest employer here, and the second largest industry in Florida. But why here? It's the people. People who decided to make their careers here long ago, and then decided to stay. Their futures could be traced to a single twist of fate. It's a story of incredible and almost impossible timing, and of one couple's success against any number of odds. This is the story of a young couple who, on their honeymoon, decided to buy a boatyard. Neither one of them had any practical experience in the boat business, had ever built a boat, or knew much about the reality of owning a boatyard. But 5 years later, in this small boat facility on the South Fork of the New River in Fort Lauderdale, they not only became the largest employer in Broward County, but the largest defense contractor in Florida. They would later become the first American yacht builder to have the largest order book in the world. How is this possible? Dooley's yard was on the Navy's bid list, as he had built a series of patrol boats during World War II. After 2 horrible back-to-back hurricanes, he sold the yard.
I've always wondered if the reason that they decided to have a honeymoon in Fort Lauderdale was because they got some amazing deal, right? I mean, who the hell would want to go down to Fort Lauderdale right after 2 back-to-back hurricanes? And I always found that just a really, really neat bit of our family's history, was that it started as a honeymoon, this sort of like connecting point between two people. And there's no doubt that that decision changed not only our lives and our kids' lives, but also the people of Fort Lauderdale and the people of Broward County.
Shortly after the young couple bought the yard, which was mainly doing repairs at the time, a bid went out for the construction of 12 wood minesweepers.
If there was one thing that Frank Denison could have been ultimately known for, was the fact that he was described as a production genius. And this came out very clearly with those minesweeper orders when they said there's no way that he could do it. Number one, the boats were too deep in draft, the river would never take it. What he did was he decided to build half of the boat in the main yard and the other half in Port Everglades. So he built the boats light, launched them sideways in a very narrow canal, which obviously had never been done before in the New River, and then decided to float them down with very high water lines. When it reached Port Everglades, the top was and engines and armament and the superstructure was married to it, and that became the absolute blueprint for his success in getting those deliveries out. I don't think anybody had ever thought it. None of that was part of the contract of how we did it. It was just that he needed to get it done.
But they didn't get into the boat business to build minesweepers, as yachts were their passion. In the middle of the minesweeper program, John Wells, America's preeminent naval architect, came to the yard with plans for a 96-foot motor yacht for one of the country's wealthiest businessmen. This would be the largest yacht built in the U.S. since World War II, and was an outrageous and beautiful yacht.
You know, it's interesting when we talk about the history of the boat business and families that have been involved in the boat business, and maybe it was more a fraternity than it was an industry.
Your father was the iconic boat builder. You know, there was director, there was your dad, there was Henry Berger. These were one-man, sole proprietorships, and it was their way or the highway.
There was people that took risk. Your mom and dad took the risk at the end of the day, I guarantee you. And the same thing that goes there when you look generationally as you guys developed new boats and new sales techniques for the market to copy at the end of the day. And we did, God bless you, we did copy a lot of the things you did.
Oh, I think the European builders back then were jealous of the success that Broward Marine was having. I can remember talking to Paolo Vitelli, who was the CEO of Azabeth Minetti, and he told me that as a young man just getting into boat building, his dream, his fantasy, was to build more and larger yachts than Broward Marine. That was his goal in life.
Well, in Europe, yes, because actually in the US there was only Broward, and Broward was the largest boat manufacturing company probably worldwide in terms of number and impact and presence on the American soil. In Europe, we had very traditional old family like the De Vries and the Van Lent and the Benetti, but the impact in the U.S. of Broward Marine was quite massive.
But Broward is synonymous with South Florida, and I think that the Denison name gave more rise to the meaning of calling South Florida or Fort Lauderdale the yachting capital of the world. The Denisons did that.
Frank and Gertrude's major contribution to the industry, in my mind, are all of the individual companies that have started as a result of what they did.
I owe a lot, and I think the entire industry owes a lot to the Denison family who started this entire business, and it gave a vision for everybody to say, we can do this too.
Between the two of them, they came up with innovations that found buyers of the same mindset. These were not old school yachtsmen, but rather risk takers and rule breakers that quickly became the new norm in yachting.
Building that Broward was a game changer for me. I met your dad, Frank, right? He was terrific. Your mother, Gertrude, they were so engaged. It was really a family operation.
Broward was always a great brand, and I think so many people today who are in yachting will have started with a Broward, but even to this day you still see a lot of Browards out there. They're popular yachts. They're being bought and sold all the time.
Well, I was born in Cuba. It's just the time I was 2 years old, my father always had a big boat. So I came to America. The first time I had $10, I bought a 16-foot runabout. But when I started making money, I bought a few Hatteras. Well, my dream was always to own a Broward.
Your dad was one of the first to realize
that the buyer changed and he wanted a different experience. These people are only going to be boating 5% of the time. The other 95% they're going to be living on this boat. So they recognized that in a way that I don't think anybody else did and kept going with that concept.
No one really was doing that in Europe, and Broward were doing these boats with enormous volume. That was a revolution, and that created a much bigger market for yachting and specifically for the Broward yachts.
You know, your parents and my father, and the fact that they overlapped on as they did for a while, just for me is a very, you know, it's a very neat coming together.
Gertrude broke the mold. You don't have to get wet. You can cook the cookies and take your grandchildren. You can dream of having a villa afloat.
Broward reset yachting standards in almost every decade by a simple mantra that Frank Denison, as well as Gertrude, maintained as a guidepost for their company. If you build the same boat twice, you haven't learned anything.
People like Frank Denison and his family, they led from the front and they never looked back. So when you ask me what my impression is of Frank Denison and Broward and the family, I mean, you can't overstate the role they played in this industry.
When I think of my grandparents and them being honored, I can't help but think of what would they think, what would they be feeling, and I know that there would be a lot of gratitude, and I know that they would very much also point to the people that made these boats, right? The amount of jobs and families that were behind the effort to make this happen, to overcome the hard things, to create yachts in good economies and bad economies. They would definitely point to those people, and that's one of the things that I always loved about my grandparents, is that they really, really knew that it was never about the big white yacht, it was about the families and the jobs that those big white yachts created locally.
I think it's important to realize that taking risks the way they did and the scale that they did, sometimes the impossibility of it all, it was just doing what they loved to do, and I think that is the heartfelt thanks that our industry owes. I certainly do as a son, my brothers. And you have to ask yourself, how did it start? And why did it start here? I think it's because of Frank and Gertrude and what they did on their honeymoon.
Yeah, it's much better to have the mic. Okay, to wrap this up, we'd like to bring Mayor Dean Trantalis up for a moment if we could, and then we have one final award to present.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fort Lauderdale, right? What an amazing, amazing event. So a singular opportunity for everyone in the world to see how Fort Lauderdale shines. And this is truly an amazing event year after year. Let's give it up for the boat show people, Informa, everybody, Marine Industries Association. Thank you for bringing such a success to our community. And I know the story we've been hearing is about one family, and then another family, and then many families who made Fort Lauderdale their home. And they saw the inspiration and they saw the opportunity, and they combined the two to build the success that we now saw today on this film. But it's not just the boat industry. It's the marine industry that brought other industries here to Fort Lauderdale to make this city the best city in Florida. Would you agree? Yes. So let us continue that tradition. Let us recognize the people that have done so well in our community. Let us bring up the Denisons. Let us recognize them. Come on, everybody, come on up. Let's give it up for this family.
There's so many of us, they just wanted me to be up there. So.
Okay. Yeah. So there are so many Denisons, but they picked this one because he's the most attractive and he's the most articulate. Okay. So What do we have here? Wow, this is amazing. So this is the Denison Family 2021 History Makers Honoree, Fort Lauderdale Historical Society. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Want to say a few words?
Sure. Just the only thing I'm going to say is I think it's so cool that this was not just about Frank Denison, but also Gertrude. And she was the type of woman that spread ideas and it was a force in the company, a force in the industry, but she did it with a hell of a lot of grace. And it makes me so happy to see so many women in our industry right now not doing anything but leading and contributing to what's happening in the yachting industry. And it's a big deal that Gertrude was not left out of this because we called her Shushy, and the fact that she was a part of this is a big deal, and the fact that there's so many women leading in our industry right now would be something she'd be very proud of, so thank you.
Absolutely. You want to add a few words?
No, we're good.
You're good, okay.
We want to get a picture.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. I'll give this to you.
All right, let me take it again. Okay. So let's finish off the evening strong and enjoy each other's company. And good night, guys. Thank you so very much for doing this. You're all family. Thank you.